Hello friends, and welcome to our channel. Today we will take you through a crucial chapter of World War II, the German invasion of Poland. This video is the first part of our 5-part series, where we will explore the reasons behind this invasion and the events that led to it. So let's begin. The situation after World War I. After World War I, Europe was left in a state of severe instability. The Treaty of Versailles imposed harsh conditions on Germany, including limitations on its military, heavy war reparations, and territorial losses. This treaty was a significant blow to Germany's pride and led to widespread anger and resentment among the German people. The Treaty of Versailles. The Treaty of Versailles, signed in 1919, crippled Germany's economic and military power. According to the treaty's provisions, Germany was forced to return Alsace-Lorraine to France. Its military was restricted to 100,000 soldiers. Germany had to pay heavy war reparations. The rise of Hitler. Exploiting this dissatisfaction, Adolf Hitler and his Nazi party began their rise to power. In 1933, Hitler became the Chancellor of Germany and soon established himself as a dictator. Rejecting the provisions of the Treaty of Versailles, Hitler rebuilt Germany's military might and adopted an aggressive foreign policy. The Munich Agreement. In 1938, under the Munich Agreement, Hitler annexed the Sudetenland region of Czechoslovakia. This agreement further emboldened Hitler to take more aggressive steps. Instead of curbing Hitler's aggression, European powers appeased him, giving him the confidence to proceed with his expansionist plans. The Non-Aggression Pact. In August 1939, Hitler signed a non-aggression pact with the Soviet Union, known as the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. Under this agreement, both countries promised not to attack each other and secretly agreed to divide Poland between them. This pact assured Hitler that he could invade Poland without fearing Soviet intervention. The plan and preparation for the invasion. Hitler codenamed the plan to invade Poland as Operation Weiss. The objective was to defeat Poland quickly and then move on to other parts of Europe. Germany planned to use its Blitzkrieg, or lightning war strategy, which involved rapid and powerful attacks. German military preparations. The German military was fully prepared for the invasion, with tanks, aircraft, and a large number of troops. The Germans also strengthened their communication and logistics systems to ensure that there would be no disruptions during the attack. Nazi propaganda and psychological warfare. To ensure the success of the invasion, Hitler launched an extensive propaganda campaign. Germany spread false news against Poland, claiming that Poland was planning to attack Germany. This propaganda garnered support from the German public for the war. Poland's response. At this time, Poland was weaker compared to Germany. Its military relied on outdated strategies and equipment. However, the Polish leadership took a firm stance against Germany's aggression. Poland sought military cooperation with France and Britain, but it did not receive adequate support. The Polish-British Guarantee. In March 1939, Britain and France offered security guarantees to Poland. They declared that if Germany attacked Poland, they would join the war to defend Poland. Although this declaration failed to deter Hitler, it provided some moral support to Poland. The date of the invasion. On September 1st, 1939, Germany invaded Poland. This day is marked as the beginning of World War II. The German army, using the Blitzkrieg strategy, quickly began capturing various parts of Poland. The Blitzkrieg strategy. The Blitzkrieg strategy involved fast and powerful attacks. It combined the coordinated use of tanks and air force, which quickly broke through enemy defenses. The German military used these swift attacks to confuse and divide Polish forces. Conclusion. So friends, this was the first part of our 5-part series, where we explored the reasons behind Germany's invasion of Poland and the events that made it possible. In the next part, we will discuss what happened on the first day of the invasion and how the German army began to take control of Poland. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel and don't forget to like and share this video. Thank you. Hello friends, welcome to our channel. Today, we bring you the second part of our 5-part series, where we will discuss the beginning of Germany's invasion of Poland on September 1st, 1939. So, without further delay, let's get started. September 1st, 1939, the start of the invasion. One of the key events leading to the start of World War II was the false flag operation carried out by Germans on German soil, known as the Gleiwitz Incident, which occurred on August 31st, 1939. This operation was staged to create a pretext for invading Poland. SS operatives, disguised as Polish soldiers, attacked a German radio station in Gleiwitz, now Gliwice, Poland. They broadcast an anti-German message in Polish, making it seem as though Polish forces had initiated the attack. To further legitimize the deception, the Nazis left behind the bodies of concentration camp prisoners dressed in Polish uniforms as evidence. This staged attack was designed to give Germany a pretext to invade Poland. On the morning of September 1st, 1939, without any warning, the German army launched its invasion of Poland. The invasion began with the shelling of the military depot at Westerplatte, located near the city of Gdańsk. Germany employed its Blitzkrieg, lightning war, strategy, launching swift and extensive attacks across Poland. The Battle of Westerplatte. The Battle of Westerplatte was the first major act of Polish resistance. The German battleship Schleswig-Holstein opened fire on the Polish garrison at Westerplatte. Despite being heavily outnumbered and outgunned, Polish soldiers bravely held their ground against the German assault, defending the depot for an entire week. Germany's Blitzkrieg strategy. Meaning and purpose of Blitzkrieg. Blitzkrieg, which literally means lightning war, was a military strategy aimed at quickly breaking through enemy lines and capturing key interior areas. This strategy involved the coordinated use of tanks, air force, and motorized infantry to overwhelm the enemy rapidly. Initial attacks. The German army attacked Poland from 4 major fronts. 1. From the north, German forces advanced southward from East Prussia. 2. From the west, German forces launched an assault from the German-Polish border, moving eastward. 3. From the south, an attack was launched from Slovakia, pushing northward. 4. Air Force strikes. The Luftwaffe carried out extensive bombings on Polish cities, railways, and military installations. The use of air power. The German Air Force, the Luftwaffe, played a crucial role in the invasion by disrupting Polish communication and supply lines through large-scale aerial attacks. The Luftwaffe bombed Polish cities and railway stations, significantly slowing down the Polish army and causing substantial damage. Major battles. The Battle of Westerplatte. As mentioned earlier, Polish soldiers fought valiantly against the German army at Westerplatte. Despite being outmatched in terms of numbers and firepower, they managed to hold the line for a week. The assault on Danzig. Danzig, now known as Gdańsk, was another key focus of the German invasion. The German army launched a fierce attack to capture the city. The Polish civilians living there also resisted, but the German forces were too powerful and numerous. The Battle of Kutno. The Battle of Kutno was another significant engagement during the German invasion. The Polish army put up a strong fight against the German forces, but ultimately had to retreat in the face of Germany's superior strength and tactics. Polish army's response. Initial defense. The Polish army mounted a strong initial defense against the German invasion. They quickly mobilized to protect their borders, but the overwhelming numbers and technological superiority of the German forces posed significant challenges. Strategic planning. The Polish military devised strategies to defend key cities and strategic locations. However, their plans were soon overwhelmed by the relentless pace of the German Blitzkrieg. German military tactics and technology. Tanks and motorized infantry. The German army made effective use of their tank divisions, known as panzer units, and motorized infantry. These tanks quickly broke through Polish defensive lines and advanced deep into Polish territory. Air Force and communication systems. The Luftwaffe crippled Polish communication and supply lines, while the German army maintained coordination among its forces through fast and secure communication systems, ensuring the effectiveness of their attacks. Impact of the first week of war. By the end of the first week, the Polish army had suffered significant losses, and many key locations had fallen into German hands. Despite their bravery, the Polish soldiers were gradually overwhelmed by the superior numbers and technology of the German forces. Impact on civilians. The German invasion had a devastating impact on Polish civilians as well. Thousands were killed or injured, and millions were forced to flee their homes. The German army also committed atrocities against the civilian population, further worsening their plight. So friends, that was the second part of our 5-part series, where we explored how Germany's invasion of Poland began and the impact of the initial attacks on the Polish army and civilians. In the next part, we'll discuss how the German invasion expanded and how Poland attempted to resist. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel and don't forget to like and share this video. Thank you. Hello friends, welcome to our channel. Today, we bring you the third part of our 5-part series, where we will discuss the expansion of the German invasion and the Polish resistance. So without further ado, let's get started. As the German invasion advanced, several crucial fronts and battles emerged. The Battle of Warsaw. The Battle of Warsaw became a central point of Polish resistance. The German army encircled Warsaw and began heavy bombing. The city was bombarded relentlessly, causing widespread destruction and loss of life. Polish forces, alongside civilians, valiantly defended the city. Despite their efforts, the siege lasted until September 28th, when the Polish forces, overwhelmed by the sustained attack and facing severe shortages, eventually surrendered. The battle resulted in significant casualties, with over 10,000 Polish soldiers and an estimated 25,000 civilians losing their lives. The Battle of Bzura. The Battle of Bzura was one of the largest engagements during the German invasion, where the Polish army mounted significant resistance. The battle, which lasted from September 9th to September 19th, 1939, saw intense fighting as Polish forces launched a counteroffensive against the German 8th and 10th armies. During this period, the Polish forces inflicted considerable damage on the Germans, causing substantial losses. However, due to the overwhelming numbers and superior firepower of the German forces, the Polish army was eventually forced to retreat. The battle was devastating, with approximately 20,000 Polish soldiers killed and another 30,000 captured. The invasion expands Eastern Front. The German army extended its invasion to eastern Poland. Moving swiftly, they left little time for the Polish forces to organize themselves. The Germans captured key cities and communication lines in the eastern regions of Poland, further weakening the Polish defense. This rapid advance led to the fall of critical strategic points, and in their wake, many Polish soldiers were killed or captured. Southern Front. On the southern front, the German army attacked Poland from Slovakia. This unexpected move caught the Polish defense off guard and weakened their defensive lines. The Germans quickly seized crucial positions in southern Poland. The suddenness of the attack caused chaos among Polish forces, leading to significant casualties as they tried to reorganize and resist the advancing German troops. The Polish resistance, local militias and civilian resistance. In response to the German invasion, Polish civilians and local militias also resisted. Civilians resorted to guerrilla warfare, launching surprise attacks on German troops and disrupting their supply lines. These brave acts of defiance, though heroic, often led to severe reprisals by the German forces, resulting in numerous civilian casualties. The underground movement. An underground resistance movement also sprang up against the German occupation in Poland. These fighters carried out operations to sabotage the German army's communication and logistics systems. They secretly gathered military intelligence and shared it with the remaining Polish forces. Despite being outgunned and outnumbered, these underground fighters played a crucial role in the resistance, although many paid the ultimate price with their lives. German military strategy and tactics. Tanks and motorized infantry. The German army efficiently utilized their tank divisions and motorized infantry. The tanks, known as Panzer, quickly broke through Polish defense lines, causing chaos and confusion among Polish forces. Motorized infantry followed, advancing swiftly and displacing Polish forces. These tactics resulted in significant Polish casualties as they struggled to adapt to the fast-paced German advances. Air Force and communication systems. The German Air Force, the Luftwaffe, devastated Polish communication and supply lines through relentless aerial bombardments. This not only crippled the Polish military's ability to coordinate defenses, but also led to heavy civilian casualties in the bombed areas. Simultaneously, the German military maintained coordination among their forces through their fast and secure communication systems, ensuring the rapid and effective execution of their strategies. Propaganda and psychological warfare. The German army also employed propaganda and psychological warfare. They spread false news and rumors to demoralize Polish soldiers and civilians. The Germans even dropped leaflets urging the Polish forces to surrender. These tactics, while not physically harmful, significantly weakened Polish morale, contributing to their eventual defeat. The Polish army's resistance. The Battle of Modlin. In the Battle of Modlin, the Polish army put up fierce resistance against the Germans. This battle lasted from September 13th to September 29th. Polish soldiers entrenched in the Modlin fortress managed to inflict significant damage on the German forces, holding out longer than expected. However, after weeks of intense fighting, during which around 8,000 Polish soldiers were killed, they were forced to surrender due to overwhelming German pressure and a lack of supplies. The Battle of Hell. During the Battle of Hell, the Polish Navy fought against the German forces in a prolonged defense. This battle spanned from September 1st to October 2nd. Despite being heavily outnumbered and outgunned, the Polish Navy stood firm against German naval attacks, inflicting some damage on the attackers. The battle ended when the defenders, having sustained severe losses, including over 2,000 casualties, finally surrendered. Polish military strategies. The Polish army used various strategies against the German forces, including guerrilla warfare, surprise attacks, and fortification. Despite limited resources, the Polish military successfully stalled the German advance in several locations, inflicting casualties on the invading forces. However, the overwhelming power and coordination of the German army made it increasingly difficult for the Polish forces to maintain their defensive positions. Challenges and difficulties. However, the Polish army faced numerous challenges. Their numbers and weaponry were significantly less compared to the German army. Additionally, the speed and aggression of the German forces strategically weakened the Polish defense, leading to devastating losses. The lack of external support and the swift advance of the enemy left the Polish forces in a desperate situation, leading to high casualties and eventual surrender. Impact of the war. Impact on Polish soldiers and civilians. The German invasion had a profound impact on Polish soldiers and civilians. Thousands of soldiers were killed or wounded in the battles, and millions of civilians were forced to flee their homes as the German forces advanced. The occupation brought untold suffering to the Polish people, with widespread atrocities committed by the German army. Entire towns were razed, and the population subjected to harsh reprisals, leading to an environment of fear and despair. International reaction. The German invasion of Poland shocked the international community. Britain and France declared war on Germany, marking the beginning of World War II, but their assistance could not reach Poland in time to make a difference. Other countries condemned Germany's aggression, but immediate help was not forthcoming for Poland, leaving the nation to face the might of the German military largely alone. So friends, that was the third part of our 5-part series, where we discussed how the German invasion expanded and how Poland resisted. In the next part, we will tell you how the Soviet Union intervened and how Poland ultimately fell. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel and like and share this video. Thank you. Hello friends, welcome to our channel. Today, we bring you the 4th part of our 5-part series, where we will discuss the Soviet intervention and the fall of Poland. So, without further delay, let's begin. Soviet intervention. The Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact. In August 1939, Germany and the Soviet Union signed a non-aggression pact known as the Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact. One of the secret provisions of this pact was the decision to divide Poland between the two powers. This agreement gave Hitler the confidence to invade Poland as he planned his military assault, the Soviet invasion. On September 17, 1939, with the Polish army already weakened by the German invasion, the Soviet Union launched its attack on eastern Poland. Soviet forces quickly began occupying Polish territories. The Polish army, already struggling against the Germans, was unable to fight on two fronts. The Soviet army swiftly captured key cities and strategic positions in eastern Poland. They committed atrocities against Polish soldiers and civilians and carried out mass arrests. This invasion further weakened Polish resistance and made it easier for Germany to consolidate its control over Poland. The collapse of the Polish army. Fighting on two fronts. The combined invasions by Germany and the Soviet Union placed immense pressure on the Polish army. Despite their bravery, the Polish soldiers were heavily outnumbered and outgunned by the German and Soviet forces. In this dire situation, the Polish army found it nearly impossible to organize an effective resistance on both fronts. Strategic failures. The Polish military strategy crumbled in the face of the German Blitzkrieg and the Soviet invasion. Polish leadership attempted to defend multiple fronts, but the speed and aggression of the German and Soviet attacks shattered their defensive lines. Although the Polish soldiers resisted fiercely in many areas, they were ultimately forced to retreat under relentless pressure. The surrender of the Polish army. After the fall of Warsaw on September 28, 1939, most of the remaining Polish forces began to surrender. The rapid advances of both German and Soviet armies led to the complete defeat of the Polish military. Many Polish soldiers and officers were captured or killed in the aftermath. The consequences of the Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact. The division of Poland. Under the terms of the Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact, Poland was divided between Germany and the Soviet Union. Western Poland came under German occupation, while the Soviets took control of eastern Poland. This division effectively ended the existence of the Polish state, subjecting millions of Polish citizens to the brutalities of both the German and Soviet regimes. Impact on Polish civilians. The division and subsequent occupation of Poland had a devastating impact on Polish civilians. Both German and Soviet forces committed widespread atrocities, including mass arrests and executions. Millions of Polish citizens were displaced from their homes, forced to become refugees, and endure harsh conditions under occupation. The partition of Poland completely altered the country's political and social structure. The German and Soviet occupations instilled fear and uncertainty among the Polish population. Polish government and military leaders fled into exile, determined to continue the fight for their nation's freedom. International response. The joint invasion of Poland by Germany and the Soviet Union shocked the international community. Britain and France declared war on Germany, but they were unable to provide timely assistance to Poland. While they organized their forces in support of Poland, they could not intervene quickly enough to prevent its fall. Other nations also condemned the aggression of Germany and the Soviet Union. The United States maintained a stance of neutrality but expressed sympathy for Poland. Many European countries began mobilizing their armies, preparing to confront the growing threat posed by Germany. The Polish government in exile. The Polish government, forced into exile, vowed to continue the fight for independence. Polish leaders established their government in Britain and France, where they continued to advocate for Polish freedom. Surviving Polish soldiers also joined British and French forces to continue the struggle against the Axis powers. So friends, this was the fourth part of our 5-part series, where we explored how the Soviet Union intervened and contributed to Poland's downfall. In the next and final part, we will discuss the aftermath of the war and the impact of the German occupation on Poland. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel and don't forget to like and share this video. Thank you. Hello friends, welcome to our channel. Today, we bring you the final episode of our 5-part series, where we will discuss the consequences of World War II on Poland and the impact of German occupation on the country. So, without further delay, let's begin. Consequences of the war. Division and occupation of Poland. Following the Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact, Poland was divided between Germany and the Soviet Union. Western Poland fell under German control, while the Soviets took over the eastern part. This division marked the end of the Polish state and subjected millions of Polish citizens to German and Soviet atrocities. In the German-occupied regions, the Nazi administration imposed harsh laws and regulations. Polish citizens faced repression, forced labor, and brutal treatment. The situation was not much different in Soviet-occupied areas, where many Polish citizens were arrested, exiled, or killed. The Polish resistance movement. Despite the occupation, the Polish resistance movement continued to fight against both German and Soviet forces. The underground army, known as the Home Army, Armia Krajowa, secretly conducted operations to sabotage the German military. They utilized clandestine radio broadcasts, propaganda, and military assaults to inflict damage on the occupiers. The Warsaw Uprising. In 1944, the Polish underground army organized the Warsaw Uprising, the largest act of resistance against Nazi occupation. The insurgents aimed to liberate Warsaw from German control, but the rebellion was brutally crushed by the German forces. Thousands were killed, and much of the city was destroyed. Impact on Polish citizens. Nazi atrocities. During the Nazi occupation, Polish citizens faced widespread massacres. Under Hitler's orders, millions of Polish civilians were sent to concentration camps, where they were mercilessly killed. The Polish Jewish community also faced annihilation, with 6 million Jews perishing in the Holocaust. Forced labor. The Nazi regime forced Polish citizens into labor, sending them to work in German factories and farms under brutal conditions. Many Polish laborers died or were severely injured due to the harsh working environments. Soviet atrocities. In the Soviet-occupied areas, Polish citizens faced mass deportations. Thousands were exiled to remote parts of Siberia and other regions. The Soviet army and secret police arrested Polish officials, teachers, and intellectuals, many of whom were killed. The Soviet occupation also saw events like the Katyn massacre, where the Soviet secret police brutally murdered thousands of Polish military officers and intellectuals. This event deeply shocked the Polish populace and fostered a profound distrust of the Soviet Union. Post-war Poland. The Yalta Conference. After World War II, the Yalta Conference saw the Allied powers plan the reorganization of Europe. Poland's future was decided, placing it within the Soviet sphere of influence. This led to the establishment of a communist government in Poland, loyal to the Soviet Union. Communist regime. In the post-war period, a communist regime was established in Poland. The new government followed Soviet policies, ushering in an era of repression and censorship among the Polish population. Political opponents were arrested, and many were killed. Economic and social impact. Reconstruction efforts. After the war, Poland needed extensive reconstruction. The widespread destruction during the war required the rebuilding of Polish cities, industries, and infrastructure. The Soviet Union aided in this reconstruction, but it also made Poland's economy dependent on Soviet policies. Population changes. The war and atrocities led to significant demographic changes in Poland. Millions of Polish citizens were killed or exiled. Post-war Poland implemented new population policies, and the number of Polish Jews drastically declined. Conclusion. So friends, this was the final episode of our 5-part series, where we explored the impact of German occupation on Poland during World War II and the consequences of the war. This war was not only a significant event for Poland, but also for the entire world, reshaping history. If you enjoyed this series, please subscribe to our channel and like and share this video. Thank you. Hello friends, welcome to our channel. Today we are starting a new series where we will tell you about life in Poland under German and Soviet occupation during World War II. In this first video, we will discuss the hardships and atrocities faced by Polish citizens during the German occupation. So without further delay, let's begin. The beginning of German occupation. On September 1st, 1939, Germany launched an invasion of Poland using a strategy known as Blitzkrieg. This rapid and intense attack brought Poland under German control in just 6 weeks. The German military's actions during this invasion had a profound impact on Polish society, causing widespread suffering among both civilians and soldiers. Establishment of Nazi administration. After occupying Poland, Germany established a Nazi administration. They divided Poland into 2 parts: the general government, which was directly under Nazi control, and other Polish territories that were annexed into the German Reich. The Nazi administration imposed strict rules and laws, stripping Polish citizens of their freedom and rights. Impact on daily life. Shortage of food and resources. During the German occupation, Polish citizens faced severe shortages of food and resources. The German administration requisitioned Polish agricultural produce for Germany, leading to a scarcity of food for Polish citizens. A rationing system was implemented, but it was inadequate, and people began to starve. Forced labor. The German administration forced Polish citizens into labor. Millions of Poles were sent to work in factories, mines, and farms in Germany. These workers were subjected to extremely harsh conditions without proper wages or facilities. Many workers died or were injured due to these harsh conditions. Restrictions on education and culture. The German administration shut down the Polish education system and attempted to erase Polish culture and history. Schools and universities were closed, and the use of the Polish language was banned. The Nazi administration destroyed Polish books and cultural heritage, inflicting deep wounds on Polish culture. Atrocities and persecution. Atrocities against Jews. The Nazi regime carried out brutal acts of persecution against the Jewish population in Poland. Jewish communities were forced into overcrowded ghettos, where they endured extremely poor living conditions. Many were later deported to concentration camps, where they faced unimaginable horrors. During this period, millions of Jews lost their lives. Persecution of Polish citizens. Beyond the Jewish community, many Polish citizens also faced severe persecution under Nazi rule. Intellectuals, educators, and community leaders were often targeted, arrested, and subjected to harsh treatment. The oppressive regime created an atmosphere of fear and repression throughout the country. Resistance movement. The Underground Army. Polish citizens launched a resistance movement against the Nazi occupation. The Underground Army, known as the Home Army, Armia Krajowa, secretly carried out operations and engaged in activities to harm the Nazi forces. They used covert radio broadcasts, propaganda, and military attacks. The Warsaw Uprising. In 1944, the Polish resistance launched the Warsaw Uprising, one of the largest acts of resistance against the Nazi occupation. The uprising was a courageous effort to liberate Warsaw from German control. However, the German military responded with overwhelming force, leading to significant casualties and the destruction of much of the city. So friends, that was our first video where we explored the challenges and hardships faced by Polish citizens during the German occupation. In our next video, we will discuss what life was like in Poland during Soviet occupation. If you found this video informative, please subscribe to our channel and don't forget to like and share this video. Thank you. Hello friends, welcome to our channel. Today we bring you the second and final part of our new series, where we will discuss what life was like in Poland under Soviet occupation. We'll explore how the Soviet administration affected Polish citizens and the impact it had on their lives. So, without further delay, let's begin. The beginning of Soviet occupation. September 17, 1939, the Soviet Union invaded the eastern parts of Poland. This invasion coincided with the German attack and was planned under the Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact. The Soviet army quickly occupied eastern Poland, disrupting the lives of Polish citizens. Establishment of Soviet administration. The Soviet Union set up its administration in the occupied areas of Poland. Soviet authorities removed local officials and established their own governance. The Soviet administration exerted strict control over Polish citizens and implemented the Soviet system. Impact on daily life. Deportation and arrests. During Soviet occupation, Polish citizens faced mass deportations. Thousands of Poles were exiled to Siberia and other remote areas. The Soviet secret police arrested Polish intellectuals, military officers, and leaders, with many being imprisoned or executed. Restrictions on education and culture. The Soviet administration reorganized the Polish education system and attempted to spread Soviet ideology. Soviet curricula were implemented in Polish schools and universities, while Polish language and culture were tightly controlled. The Soviets tried to destroy Polish cultural heritage and reshape Polish art and literature to align with Soviet ideals. Economic hardships. The Soviet occupation severely impacted Poland's economy. The Soviet administration took control of Polish industries and agriculture, redirecting production for the benefit of the Soviet Union. Polish citizens faced severe shortages of food, clothing, and other essential goods. Social and economic structures were altered, making everyday life even more difficult. Atrocities and persecution. The Katyn Massacre. During Soviet occupation, events like the Katyn Massacre occurred against Polish citizens. In this atrocity, the Soviet secret police brutally executed thousands of Polish military officers and intellectuals. This event was a profound shock to Polish society and deepened mistrust towards the Soviet Union. Forced labor. The Soviet administration forced Polish citizens into labor. They were sent to work in Soviet factories and farms under harsh conditions. These workers were denied fair wages or adequate facilities, and many perished or were injured under these brutal circumstances. Resistance movement. The underground army and resistance Polish citizens continued their resistance against Soviet occupation. The underground army secretly conducted operations and engaged in various activities to sabotage Soviet forces. They relied on covert radio broadcasts, propaganda, and military strikes. Political resistance. Polish leaders and intellectuals were actively resisting Soviet rule. Many Polish political parties and organizations carried out covert activities against the Soviet regime and continued the struggle for Polish independence. This resistance helped sustain hope and determination within Polish society. So friends, this was our second video where we explored what life was like in Poland under Soviet occupation. We saw how the Soviet administration affected Polish citizens and the impact it had on their lives. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel and like and share this video. Thank you.